Number two is they speak also, they speak in terms of the beautification of Negril. Minister, you can't have local first for the people of Negril if we don't deal with the bottleneck.
Member, we'll have some challenges when I am sitting in this chair as Speaker.
Okay.
You are to ask a question. Your time for making a statement is only 5 minutes, and that is allowed to the person who is responding to the minister. Other than that, each person allowed in respect of questions afterwards in keeping with Standing Orders 11A and 17 subsection 2 must ask a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Good evening, and welcome to Negril Times. In today's feature, we turn our attention to Jamaica's Parliament, where a pointed exchange in the House of Representatives on Tuesday has rekindled an 18-year-old debate first raised by former Prime Minister Bruce Golding. At the heart of the discussion is whether the standing orders, the rules that guide how Parliament operates, should be amended to give all members of Parliament, not just ministers, the right to make statements during sittings. The issue resurfaced after Speaker of the House Juliet Holness reminded Western Westmoreland MP Ian Hayles that only ministers and designated opposition spokespersons are permitted to make statements under the current standing orders.
Number two is they speak also, they speak in terms of the beautification of Negril. Minister, you can't have local first for the people of Negril if we don't deal with the bottleneck.
Member, we'll have some challenges when I am sitting in this chair as Speaker.
Okay.
You are to ask a question. Your time for making a statement is only 5 minutes, and that is allowed to the person who is responding to the minister. Other than that, each person allowed in respect of questions afterwards in keeping with Standing Orders 11A and 17 subsection 2 must ask a question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The reminder, though procedural, has reignited conversation about whether Jamaica's parliamentary rules have kept pace with the democratic principle of equal voice for all elected representatives. The exchange has drawn attention once again to Standing Orders 11A and 17.2, sections that outline how statements and questions must be presented in the House. It also mirrors the very concern Bruce Golding voiced back in 2007 when he argued that all MPs, regardless of ministerial office, should have the opportunity to speak directly to the nation on issues affecting their constituencies. Standing Order 11A, which governs statements by ministers. It allows ministers to make statements lasting up to 12 minutes on matters of national importance, a 5-minute response from the opposition spokesperson, and other members to ask questions only in accordance with Standing Order 17.2. That second provision, Standing Order 7.2, makes it clear that supplementary questions must strictly elucidate the answer given orally and cannot introduce unrelated matters or statements. Essentially, the rules give ministers the right to make statements, but restrict backbench MPs, whether from government or opposition, from doing the same during that segment. This confrontation comes barely a week after St. Catherine Southwest MP Everald Warmington reprimanded Deputy Speaker Heroy Clark for permitting several new MPs to make statements instead of asking questions, a breach that, according to Warmington, undermines order and discipline in the House.
Mr. Speaker, I think we're starting on the wrong footing. And I think we are setting a very bad example for the young members who just came in. The issue is, a statement by a minister is, I think, limited to 20 minutes, and the opposition spokesperson limited to 5. Then others can ask questions. What I've observed is that everybody making a statement or a speech or presentation. Mr. Speaker, we start out wrong, badly. So you need to rein them in. Whereby statements are what am I doing? I'm trying to educate you on the standing order. I'm trying to educate you on the rules of this House. Mr. Speaker, I'm calling you to put some discipline on the floor. Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order. You need to rein in the members.
Member.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order is that a state member minister can only be, when it comes to opposition, can ask questions, not making statements themselves. The opposition spokesperson have 5 minutes. The others just ask a question but not making statement. You need to teach them, particularly the ones from South Manchester, what the rules of this House.
Warmington's fiery outburst at that sitting had prompted murmurs among parliamentarians and highlighted what is deemed outdated parliamentary procedures, which constrain and frustrate MPs. The issue is not new. In fact, as far back as December 27, 2007, then Prime Minister Bruce Golding had argued that all elected members of Parliament, not just ministers, should have the right to make statements in the House. Mr. Golding had lamented that an ordinary MP, despite being equally elected, had to appeal to the Speaker or induce the rules to be bent to speak directly to the people who sent him or her to Gordon House. We all come in here as 60 persons, equally elected, none any more elected than the other, Golding had said, noting that this imbalance denied MPs a fair opportunity to speak on behalf of their constituents. He proposed that the standing orders be amended to allow MPs to make short statements on matters of local or national concern, subject to time limits and proper scheduling. Golding revisited this call in February 2009, reiterating that MPs deserve a formal mechanism to raise issues without having to wait indefinitely for answers to questions or for their motions to be scheduled. His suggestion included a provision that would require ministers to respond to MPs' questions within a set timeframe, or have the matter automatically referred to the appropriate authority in the House. Interestingly, the Speaker herself has recently announced plans to review and modernize the standing orders. At the opening ceremony for the orientation of members of Parliament on September 30th, 2025, Holness revealed that the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA, is assisting Jamaica in reviewing its parliamentary procedures, comparing them with those used in Australia, the United Kingdom, and other Commonwealth countries.
Leader of Opposition Business, as you may recall, for standing orders review in respect of the House, the lower house, we looked at the possibility of getting additional support from outside. Let me take this opportunity to say, pleasantly, we have gotten significant support from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and they have been doing a comparison of all the standing orders across similar Commonwealth countries like ours, Australia, the UK, and are coming back with some recommendations for our Standing Orders Committee. It literally leapfrogged us significantly ahead because we have been able to get significant support in doing research and compilation, so that we are ahead of the game when the Standing Orders Committee meets to do a review. And those standing orders would be world-class in terms of accepting best practice from similar institutions as our Parliament and similar jurisdictions as our country, Jamaica. So we look forward to sharing that with the new Standing Orders Committee once it is formed, and I would hope that we will be able to speedily get back to the sitting of the entire House with those updates for a vote from the House on potentially our new standing orders. Thank you.
The latest exchange between Speaker Holness and Ian Hayles has reignited the very conversation Bruce Golding started nearly 2 decades ago. Should Jamaica's standing orders be amended to allow MPs greater latitude to make statements? Supporters of reform argue that MPs, especially those from rural constituencies, need a direct channel to highlight issues affecting their communities, from infrastructure woes to social crises, without depending on ministers of the goodwill or lengthy procedural hurdles. Critics, however, caution that opening the floor to 60 MPs could lead to disorder and lengthy sittings unless strictly managed. Still, the calls for modernization echo Golding's central point, that democracy works best when every voice in Parliament can be heard. As Parliament moves toward updating its standing orders with Commonwealth guidance, the exchange between Juliet Holness and Ian Hayles may prove to be a defining moment, one that forces Jamaica to rethink whether its 20th century parliamentary rules can truly serve a 21st century democracy. Whether the final reforms of the standing orders will echo Bruce Golding's call for broader participation or maintain the current structure of ministerial privilege remains to be seen. One thing is certain. The standing orders may soon stand on new ground, more open, more modern, and more reflective of the voices that fill Gordon House. Thank you for tuning in to Negril Times, where we continue to explore the stories shaping Jamaica's democracy. Join us next time as we bring you more insight, context, and conversation that matter to our island's future.